the sheep.
Oh. Welcome into Pattern, our first climate change talk show. I'm Steph Abrams.
And I'm Jordan Steele. All right, so America's got a problem. And, of course, it has.
Companies do things, but there are steps that you can actually take to prevent waste in your own home. I mean, facts are facts, right? Let's give you some here. The organization is taking on food waste one bite at a time.
Yeah, and to share more on its commitment to eliminate hunger and fight climate change, we want to welcome in James Hart. He's the Director of Development from Food Rescue US. James, thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate it. Real quick, first, for people who aren't aware, tell us how your program works.
Anyone can do it. So let's go into a few more details about this. Where exactly are you getting some of this food from, and who is benefiting from it? Where is it going to?
Confusing. How did this idea come about where you guys were trying to figure out how to level the playing field here?
What makes this program unique compared to some of these other food mission organizations?
That is in need of maybe receiving some food. How can someone say, hey, we're in need of to have your donors drop it off here? Thank you, James Hart. We really appreciate the update and the awareness and the information.
You can relate to this with the kids all over the place. And if you stop by on your path, right, you could just stop at a bakery, grab some, and drop it on the way. And therefore, you're doing your mitzvah, your good deed, you know, for the day.
That's exactly right. All right, we're going to bring in Felicia here to talk a little bit, maybe about this if you have any input, or just climate headlines in general.
Yeah, guys, I think that's so great. And sometimes it's one of those things where it's like, I want to do something great, but maybe I don't have enough time.
This is
like
the easiest of easy.
You can fit it in. How much better do you feel after you do something nice for someone?
Yeah.
Always feels so good. Well,
right. Never have to do that.
You know what this makes me think of? In some of the new vehicles, like, you know, your phone down and it charges.
Oh, yeah.
That trips me out still.
Right.
Like, no way.
Right. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah,
it's kind of like you don't have to have it plugged into anything or anything. You're just charging as you go.
It's the future.
So convenient. Yep. Love it.
Felicia, thanks, guys.
Well, it's getting
learned so much, and that was so much fun. Allie Van Fleet again. If you want to watch that again, all you have to do is go to Pattern's YouTube channel, and that's where you can see that, and of course, a lot more too.
Remember, when you're searching for it, Felicia, P-A-T-T-R-N. We move on. Although EV sales may be hitting a bit of a speed bump, hybrid sales are accelerating. Coming up next, are being pumped on a major effort to put more electric cars on the road. Manufacturers across the country, they have scaled back on the number of EVs they're producing due to the slowing demand.
Meanwhile, another type of eco-friendly vehicle is grabbing a lot of attention. CBS News correspondent Bradley Blackburn has the story.
Steph brought up a good point. You got plug-in hybrids, and then you've got the old-school hybrids, where it's just your car is a hybrid.
You've also made the good point with this, though, Jordan. You were like, why don't we transition with half and half?
Yes.
Before you've said this, I feel like from the beginning that it would make that transition that much easier if we just did it slowly instead of jumping right in.
Right.
Which most transitions, you know, can be easier done slowly.
It's just hard when you're jumping both feet into an unknown, and then you see the hiccups, and you're like, oh no, now we've got to figure this out.
Right,
when if we just gradually kept growing and pushing, like, all right, let's keep expanding, I think more people would have jumped on board because we would have had more options when it comes to the hybrid right now.
Right.
Right now we've got a little more options when it comes to full electric, but then you've got the electric problems, which is why people are pulling back.
But I feel like there's obviously two sides, like there's to every story. There's a lot of people with EVs who are like, it's fine, I don't have any problem finding a charging station, you know, type of a thing.
If you stay in town, you're right.
You know, around the area. All right, let's go to Felicia now and talk about the weather around the country.
Yeah, guys, we're taking a look at Boston today versus what Boston's going to look like. Of course, Monday is the big day. Yay. A lot of people have been cranking.
As somebody who's run marathons, when you're running into the wind, it literally feels like you're running uphill. Yeah. Like literally feels like you're running uphill.
So that's nice. That it's
I'm glad that it'll be,
right.
Felicia, thank you. Well, electricity is a real game changer. Next on
Climate change and sustainability. I'm Jordan Steele.
And I'm Steph Abrams. Let's get into our hot topic, and it's time to get your boat in shape for the summer. And an electric motor could help you cruise a little more sustainably. So I want your opinion. Does this take away from the experience not having like the behind you or anything?
No, this is so much better. You don't have to worry about carbon monoxide and much more space. And you can't just take it off and hold it like that because they're much heavier. This one looks like it's so much easier to manhandle, so to speak.
If you could have a spare battery just in case or something.
Probably.
But can you imagine all the speedboats quietly just flying through?
Well, soon we're going to have all the speedboats probably being electric.
Yeah, I know.
We're going in that way.
I wonder if they'll act feel of it.
All right, our second hot topic here. Millions of people have built fictional island of Catan. You know, the game, the iconic board game. I'm sure you do. And now the makers are upping the ante. They're pitting anything, I think it's great.
Well, Monopoly used to teach you,
huge.
right?
It still
Even though
does.
it's still fun. Do your kids have any board games?
Yes.
Oh,
we
they
play
do?
Monopoly.
Really?
Yeah, I got them another game that's similar. Love that game.
All right, let's move on to our next hot topic. 3D printers are cool tools, but they use plastics. Until now, that is. This might be the best example.
Thing out of wood. And then it was like, oh, we're harming our forests.
Well,
and then so we went to more plastics, right?
Yeah.
And now we've got this plastic problem, so we need to figure out a way to get something that's more biodegradable. So we're kind of going back to wood. Circularity. You gotta,
it's one of those words.
Has to make a U.
Circularity. It's just one of those words I'm gonna have to leave to the side, you know, that you can't get out of your mouth.
3D printing is changing. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. But this is really full circle. I'm not using
that's perfect.
Circularity.
You did it.
There we go. Just have to say it slowly out of my mouth. But hopefully this is how everything starts.
Yeah.
This is your big thing. Like, we don't need to make new plastic. We just need to use the plastic that we have in order to make the new plastic.
Hey, high five. You did it.
Circularity.
Yeah, you
I just have to say it slow.
Just slow it down.
I do everything too fast.
Well, as we move on, it turns out sheep are some bad boys when it comes to tidying grass fields.
Onto the campus of Susquehanna University in Pennsylvania, and you can expect to see students, professors, a backpack. But what about sheep?
Now that's weird. During the school year, the sheep are in regular attendance here, helping the university keep the grass on the grounds around the solar farm trim. For more insight on this solar grazing, we want to bring in Caroline Owens. She's the co-owner of Owens Farm. Apparently, it's right on campus. Caroline, thank you so much for being with us. Got to ask how this partnership between your farm and the university, how did that thing come about?
Hear about people using goats to keep the weeds at bay. Are sheep just as efficient, or why do goats, they always, I feel like, are in the spotlight for this type of thing, not necessarily sheep? Yeah. Do you think it's a method that other schools and universities can use, not only for solar panels, but maybe just for,
Keeping
stuff needs a trim?
Clean.
Yeah.
Back, let's say, 20 plus years, was there fewer and fewer of this going on compared to what it is now? It just seems like there's more awareness of being like, oh, instead of mowing, I'd like to use a sheep farmer. That's
to Jordan's stories in college, did you?
Nothing with sheep.
Did you mess with any animals?
No.
Okay.
But I do know with those, those robots that are now delivering like pizza to dorms.
Oh, yeah.
Kids will just turn it upside down and walk away. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I just know that they're going to, anyway.
I know there's a grocery cart story that involves Jordan and Felicia. I think that was in high school, though. Jordan's been making good decisions.
It's going to tell that one?
No.
I'll
we can
go
move
weather for you.
on.
No. I mean, we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
In a grocery cart. You had to get it out of your...
No, just
I mean...
stories in general.
Maybe not a grocery cart, but we've all... Soggy kind of Friday into your Saturday.
Yeah, and then severe weather in the middle of the country next
we're
week,
watching
Felicia.
the system move east.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Well, here's a look at what's coming up next on Pattern.
Back, everybody. Well, as springtime warmth returns, it's time to make plans for your next vacation. Where are we going? If you're staying in a hotel, you've probably seen signs about the property's sustainable efforts, like, let's say, saving water.
But there are several hotels around the world that go above and beyond. Wendy Gillette, with our partners at CBS, shows us how one hotel is extending their efforts to the surrounding communities. How did Wendy get that assignment?
Because I know. And what a cool location. To do all of that, I mean, if you could do that on mass scale, that's what we need to be doing.
The glass on the roads.
Right.
I loved that.
We can't recycle glass. It's too expensive. Put it in the road.
Yeah. That was really
hard to do because I'm sitting here on the couch saying it, but it just seems like a good idea.
All right, let's take a trip over to Felicia and the weather wall to have a look at the warmth that is headed our way. It's going to feel like the Maldives, at least.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go there. I mean, maybe temporarily, but wind that could be problematic. We've already seen it for portions of this
it feels like fire season is year-round anymore.
It's been that way in the Panhandle this year, it seems like.
Yeah.
Thanks, Felicia. All right, here's what's coming up Monday on Pattern.
They are